Hi, my name is Renaud Pelletier. I'm from Vancouver, Washington. I want to talk a little bit about how bass fishing, especially tournament fishing, has evolved in the last 30-something, 40 years now since I've been fishing tournaments. I was fortunate to get in on the early beginnings of tournament fishing with club fishing back in the early 70s, back in North Carolina. And then I moved from North Carolina out to Washington State in the late 70s, where tournament fishing was just beginning. So I had a little bit of an advantage on people out there, and thank goodness the fishing was excellent in Washington State with very few fishermen in that area at that time, and a lot of bass, especially a lot of smallmouth bass on the Columbia River. So from those days in club fishing, that was really the main thing until the Bass Federation got strong enough in Oregon and Washington that we started having larger tournaments. The competition began getting much more difficult. Guys were getting very serious about it. By all of us reading Bassmaster magazine and learning our way from there. And then I was fortunate enough to do well in a regional federation tournament and qualified for the Classic in 1980. And from that, I think I was the first guy from the Northwest to ever make the Classic, and that really kindled the fire for those guys up there then. A lot of guys got really serious about tournament fishing and fishing the Federation especially, and then starting to fish the several tournament organizations that had grown up in California, West Coast Bass, U.S. Bass, which became a very big organization across the country for a while. Those were all good competitive tournaments. A lot of those guys learned a whole lot about fishing by fishing those circuits back there. Bass tournaments were not, BASS invitational tournaments were not available to guys because it's too far to drive. From Washington State back east is 3,000 miles. It's just a long trip. So in those days, only the people that had sponsorship money or had someone who to support them could travel those distances. But since that time, of course, things have evolved to where if you're a very good fisherman and you have some kind of sponsorship money, or a lot of guys commit when they're very young to saving enough money so that they can get in fish the tour level tournaments and have become just excellent fishermen. You don't have to just, like I did, you don't have to fish with someone who's very, very good to teach you anymore. You can learn to become a very proficient bass fisherman with all the electronic media online. The reading material is excellent these days, and it's a credit, I think, to a lot of young guys who have really become excellent fishermen, to the amount of time they spend at home learning what has taken older guys like me 40 years to learn. So, and those guys are so good now. It's just some of us older guys are having a very hard time keeping up with them.